Hey y'all, welcome back to Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host Andrea, back to bring you news and commentary you can use. Listen, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Listen, boy, do I have an update for you on the migrant crisis. You know, I've been covering the migrant crisis, okay, in detail here on the channel. If you're wondering, okay, Andrea, what did I miss? Make sure you check out my migrant coverage playlist in the description below, okay? I'll also link it at the end of this video. So please watch this video in its entirety. Okay, y'all, remember I did a video and I was telling you all that the U.S. delegation was meeting with the Mexico delegation, right, to discuss the migrant crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border, okay? I was telling you all at the time, Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with and other U.S. officials, right? He took more people with him. But they, from my understanding, went to Mexico, met with the Mexico president, and this was back in December, right? Just last week sometime. And they also met again, okay? They met again this month. Listen, y'all, I was telling you at the time that I was getting some reports saying that Mexico was willing to assist with the migrant crisis at the border, but they were putting what I call some conditions and stipulations that I had some questions about, okay? Well, in this video, I'm going to bring you a little bit more clarity, okay? And it kind of has me wondering, like, what's really going on? Why are they requesting this? So please make sure that you're sitting down, okay, before I share this information with you, okay? You're not going to believe this, okay? Listen, y'all. Mexico, okay? According to my reports, Mexico wants our current administration, right, the Biden administration, to pay $20 billion to stop the migrant crisis. Okay, let's get into detail and talk about this, y'all. You know I'm gonna ask some questions, right? Listen, according to my sources now, okay, Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador wants the United States to pay $20 billion to help curb illegal immigration. $20 billion? Who gonna pay for that? Why $20 billion, right? Listen. Okay, so you all, we've talked about in my videos, right? We've discussed here on the channel and in the comments how the United States has seen what seems like a growing number, okay, of border crossings, migrants crossing the border in recent months. I want to also remind you, this is not something that just started happening last week or last month, okay, or the month before. I know it may seem like headline news now, but many of you have told me, okay, many of you who actually live in border states such as Texas, Arizona, there are some others, but you all have been sharing with me, even those of you who live in New York and places like Chicago where they're designated as sanctuary cities, and you all have been receiving buses, okay, or airplanes of migrants, okay? Listen, this is not something that just started, okay? This is something that has been happening for several years now, okay? But it just seems like it's headline news. And I want to ask you all a question. I did a video, and I'll link it as well, video where I talked about Title 42 ending. That was a few months back. But listen, do you think, I want to ask you all the question, do you think that the reason why we're seeing a surge in migrants crossing the border into our country, do you think that it is because of the end of Title 42? Okay, if you don't know what Title 42 is, make sure you look in the description of the video, watch it, because I discussed that as well, okay? I just want to know your thoughts. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson, okay, House Speaker Mike Johnson, who has called the Biden administration's approach to immigration and I quote, unmitigated disaster, traveled, okay, with 64 other House Republicans to the southern border town of Eagle Pass, Texas. I talked about Eagle Pass in one of my videos on Wednesday to tour what has been a heavily traversed area by migrants, okay? Now, according to my sources, while their cameras caught migrants traveling through the Rio Grande River to the U.S. just a few feet away from the politicians. So I assume, based on what I just read, they actually got to see in action, okay? Right there live, they got a chance to see the migrants as they were crossing the river over into the border, okay? Now, Obrador said during a Friday news conference, okay, that he requested the U.S. authorities to deploy the $20 billion in funds as part of a cooperative plan to help other countries in Latin America, as record numbers of migrants are filing through Central America and Mexico to enter the U.S. Okay, now, one news source did reach out to Obrador's office via email, as well as the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, or the DHS, for comment. Obrador also, so before I go on, y'all, because he also asked for a few other things. Listen, $20 billion. Now, y'all imagine what $20 billion will do for our own country, for our people in our own country, right here in the United States. But $20 billion? Y'all, listen, the migrant crisis costs $20 billion. Y'all tell me, I'm just wondering. $20 billion, y'all. $20 billion. Who gonna pay for that? I'm just gonna be straight up. Who gonna pay for that? $20 billion. Y'all, somebody lying, ain't it? Somebody got to be lying, right? Listen, who got it? Who gonna pay for it? What is it going towards? Those are my questions, okay? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, listen, Obrador, he's the Mexico's president. He also asked the U.S. to grant visas to at least 10 million Hispanic migrants who have worked for more than 10 years in the country, which is a point he reportedly iterated to President Joe Biden during their most recent bilateral meeting in Mexico City. Okay, what do you all think about those demands? Okay, he's also asking, okay, according to my sources, he's asking that the U.S. grant visas to at least 10 million, y'all, 10 million Hispanic migrants who have worked for more than 10 years in the country, which is a point he reportedly iterated. Okay, it sounds like that's one of his main points based on how this part of the article is written. Okay, he reportedly iterated rather to President Joe Biden during their most recent bilateral meeting in Mexico City. Okay, now the Mexican Security Minister Rosa Isela Rodriguez said in a Thursday press conference that 32 Venezuelan and Honduran migrants were kidnapped from a bus on December 31st by armed men attempting to extort money from them and their families in the U.S., according to reports. Okay, so it looks like in this particular case, remember how I was talking about, the safety of both sides, the well-being of the migrants, the men, women, and children, but then also the safety, the well-being of the people in the community. So, this is a report now of migrants being allegedly kidnapped and attempts by armed men to extort them for money, okay? Them and their families. Now, excuse me, y'all. It says 26 of them were Venezuelan, 6 who were Honduran, and 3 have dual nationality with Colombia, okay? Now, Biden and Obrador, according to my sources, did speak on the phone on December 21st about managing migratory flows. That's according to the White House readout. The pair reportedly agreed that additional enforcement was necessary at key ports of entry as to reopen them safely to those attempting to cross legally, okay? Now, Obrador, speaking of Title 42, okay, my source also says that last May, Obrador criticized the Biden administration's lifting of the Title 42 immigration policy, claiming that the Trump-era policy initially instituted during the pandemic. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm just reading, okay? During the pandemic, okay, was encouraging smugglers to enter the U.S. Illegally. Okay, Title 42 expired May 11th in sync with the expiration of the pandemic health emergency. Okay, so let me know your thoughts on this, y'all. This is very concerning. My question is, what's really going on? Why does it seem that you know, the Mexican president is putting stipulations on, you know, just to get help. Isn't this a shared border, y'all? United States, Mexico. It almost seems as if they're saying, okay, you just deal with it. You, meaning the United States, you deal with it unless you got to pay up. Is Mexico offering any financial assistance towards this, or do they want the United States to front and pay the whole bill? What's really going on with this, y'all? This is very disturbing. Again, like I said, like I have been saying, you know, there is a humanitarian duty to help those who are in need at times if you have it. But again, you cannot forget about your own, okay? The American people. We have people here, men, women, children. We have families who are, you know, just trying to keep a roof over their heads, keep groceries in the household, gas in the car, keep income coming in, money coming in. $20 billion could do a lot for a lot of people right here in our own country, right? So why is it that it's so easy? Now, I don't know at the time of this report, right? I don't know if the United States has agreed. I don't know if this has to go through Congress. I don't know if this is something that President Biden can do on his own. This is kind of very concerning, y'all. What y'all think about this? Let me know in the comments, okay? I'll be back. You know, I'll bring you up-to-date coverage on the migrant crisis as well as many other issues here on the channel. Listen, y'all, pay attention to what's going on. Look at how, you know, it's situations like this I look at, especially concerning the migrant crisis. And I look at so many ways that, you know, the American people are being ignored, okay? All right, let me know your thoughts, y'all. Take care, be blessed. Thank you so much for supporting me here on the channel. Stay tuned for more news and commentary you can use.